Thai Fog 14, April the 13th to the 20th, and this is part 3. Now originally when I started doing these I thought one would be sufficient, but as a weekly blog it's now becoming evident that 3, sometimes 4 are necessary. Wow, I have got a busy life here. In this part, I'm going to look at visual media, movies, TV stuff, drama. Okay, let's get started with the movies then. I've seen a few, so this is a brief summary of my views on them. Last Flag Flying. This is directed by Richard Linklater, and was quite a gripping story about 3 Vietnam vets who reunite following the death of a son of one of them. Steve Carell seeks out his Vietnam vets, Bryan Cranston and Laurie Fishburne, after he is informed that his son has lost his life in Iraq, and the 3 of them get together in an attempt to give the son the sort of send-off that they feel he deserves. And there are some interesting points that the movie covers. The first is the political implications of those serving losing their lives, and all the government's determination to control the event at the funeral, the giving of the flag, the fact that they usually don't report the true facts of how the person has died. This story does tackle some of those issues, and of course the 3 characters are very contrasting. Cranston is quite a left-wing activist type. Fishburne has become a preacher, and Carell is sort of open to persuasion and likes to hear both sides of the arguments. So it's an interesting watch. It did ring a few bells with The Last Detail, which was a great movie starring Jack Nicholson, in as much it's a story of how the young soldiers' remains are brought back for burial, very much against the wishes of the US military. Next one, I watched A United Kingdom. This is a movie based on true events. David Oyelowo is soon to be anointed as the new king of his tribe in the area called Bechuanaland. It's not yet independent and is controlled by the British, and it's situated very near South Africa. The setting is the 50s, so we get caught up in the apartheid movement in South Africa, and the fact that the South Africans are trying to pressurize the British government in their management and governance of Bechuanaland. So when the king-to-be gets involved in a romantic relationship with a young British woman who he wants to marry, this sets off a chain of events which cause a considerable political stir. And the movie basically goes through how this decision has an impact on the politics within his tribe, the politics at Westminster, and the impact of outside governments, particularly that in Pretoria. Excellent movie. I thoroughly recommend it. Rosamund Pike becomes David's wife, and she is excellent as well. Right, the third movie I want to spend a few moments talking about is Mudbound. This is another very, very good movie. It's set in Mississippi, and it recalls the returning of two World War II serving soldiers, one white and one black. Now, the two families in Mississippi know each other, and the black family do work for the white family, although it's not slavery. It is, in essence, a consenting relationship, and we see how they are both torn by the returning members of the family, who have an extremely difficult task adapting to peacetime after the horrors of war, and get caught up in a lot of alcohol drinking, and are unable really to adapt to their farming community. There are issues, of course, in Mississippi. We get to see the Ku Klux Klan, and there's an horrendous scene near the end where the Klan, in response to the black guy sharing that he has a child out of wedlock to a German woman, is taken by the Klan, and I won't tell you exactly what happens, but it is riveting stuff. I thoroughly recommend it. Mary J. Blige was nominated for a supporting role in this movie, and she's very good. Also, Carey Mulligan and Jason Clarke are the two white adults who have a farm. The two main characters are played by Rob Morgan and Garrett Hedlund, and they develop a very close friendship upon returning from Germany. Okay, what other news? Well, a drama. I saw Marcella, which was the second season. This is an extremely good cop series about a young woman who is torn psychologically by the loss of her child, and she has harrowing flashbacks. But she works in a unit, in the homicide unit, and the season traces her and her colleagues' attempts to track down a mysterious sort of paedophile type killer who is involved in rituals, and these young boys are being found murdered. Worth a watch, I might add. Okay, there are other stuff, but I just don't have enough time, so I will return with part 4 to have a look at music.